Hello, everybody, and welcome to our today's webinar, The Power of Jamstack, and how we think the modern challenges of speed, scalability, and security should be overcome in the web. My name is Deepak Kumar, and I'm your today's host and CEO of twim. So let me start by quickly introducing us, who we are. twim stands for That's What I Meant. We are not your classical agency who will help you in developing a website, but rather we were funded with the idea of helping our clients with their needs in regards of digitalization. We started as a classical consulting agency and are based in Zug, Switzerland. We do have offices around Asia and Europe. So we are easy, scalable, and reachable through multiple time zones. Why digitalization? Our team consists solely out of digital natives. Me being the oldest one, but still being a digital native. My team and I, we do love technology, and we firmly believe that enterprisal, economical, and social topics can be handled and solved through smart implementation of technology. So that's why we started this company, to help our clients with fulfilling their need and actually understanding what their need is and developing a solution for them. We are really strong in the NGO and ISP sector, but our crew consists of multiple talents in multiple sectors, from law over medicine background, marketing, video editing, and today what would be most interesting, of course, for you would be the topic web development. So how did we stumble across the Jamstack? Long story short, one of our clients had a need, and the need was that they were not happy with their current solution and work, especially in regards of workflow and other things, how their website was developed, maintained, hosted, and everything in regards to that. So they asked us if there would be a solution of a quick fix of improving it. So we did our homework, started looking through the market, and see, of course, there are multiple stacks. There's not only Jamstack. So what we did is we invested our time and said, this could be a solution for you. And but rather than just selling the solution to them, the very first thing we did is we created our own twim website with this technology to see if the solution would be feasible and scalable for our client. And by introducing this technology in-house, we fully agreed on the technology and then could help our client to utilizing it. So that's how we generally work. We are not selling or pitching anything in any topic that we don't believe in. Or technology, and we always are solution driven, not any other thing, and we're more than happy to help with that. So I could go on and talk many hours about how great twim is, how great Jamstack is. Today's a webinar and it's not your elevator or sales pitch. So therefore, I would like to introduce you to Gary Siladi, who will bring you to the technical topics of what the Jamstack actually is. He is our senior developer. He's one of our senior in-house developers. And I firmly believe it's best to hear topics about experts rather than sales guys. So Gary, please go ahead and tell us what the Jamstack actually is.
Yeah. Hello. So thank you for the introduction, Deepak. So the question is, what is Jamstack from a technical point? And in short, it's a modern way to build and write websites, modern websites. But we don't want to really bore you with the technical definitions. And more likely, we would like to go through with you during a real life situation. and how can Jamstack solve our possible problems. So let's say that we have a great company and we want to build a great website for our products or services, and obviously want to have it as cheap as possible. So we deploy and employ one person, a full stack developer. With this one full stack developer, we are counting on his expertise, and full stack means in that sense that he is able to do the styling and the look of the website, but also knows about the backend and the services, but just in a way that he gets the job done. And that's exactly what happens. He gets the job done. We have now a website deployed by only one developer, and it seems like everything's going well. But with time, some problems arise as complexity adds up. We discovered that his expertise is not efficient for the problems and the possible solutions. So what can we do in that case? Just to illustrate what kind of situation this is, as we only paid or employed one person, this is like on a film crew. If only one person was doing the position of director, cameraman, and actor at the same time. This is not really possible, not even in a skill sense, and not even in a certain period of time. So this is one of the problems that we did, that we employed only one person with not efficient expertise. And if we try to translate this situation from the film crew to web development, we could say that the actor is like a front-end developer who is responsible for the styling, look, and feel of the website. A cameraman can be a backend developer who is responsible for the server, which is serving our website to the customers. And we could liken the director of the film to a DevOps engineer who is responsible for the whole infrastructure behind the website and the processes. So what can we do to solve our problem with our website? We can employ 2 more people. So we will pick like a senior backend developer and a senior DevOps engineer, in addition to our one guy who is good at front end. So with that, it seems like we solved our issue for the moment. We have like a running website. We have 3 developers. We a little bit increased our expenses because we now have to maintain 3 developers, but it seems to work, at least we think. But another major thing happens. Our website suddenly has a dramatic increase in the visitors who are visiting the website and looking at it and using it. This can happen due to some major event. Like, for example, now with coronavirus, we saw the real-time consequences of like an uprise in such a scale. Or, for example, we release a new product, a new service, and basically we become more popular and more people visit our website. What to do then? We discovered that our website is not really prepared for this and not really scalable to this extent. But don't worry, we can solve this. We will add even more developers to our team. So now we have like from a few people or from one person, the whole software and the whole web development team has outgrew itself into a big department. With this, we have like obvious duties to do. We need to like employ also some kind of project managers who handle the communication between the teams. And we must count with the additional people, with additional also communication noise and additional maybe bugs in the code in the software itself. So what does this entail? With time, as we added even more complex systems and now a whole department is running the website, this makes it stall on the performance of our website. And that means that all the added services really slow it down. This would mean that we would start to lose customers because of our lackluster performance. And also, if you think about it from a SEO standpoint or a search engine standpoint, our fees for being on a good number of the, for example, search engine results as Google, we now must pay even more money because Google is checking our performance, benchmarking it, and with bad performance, we come up as worse regarding search results. This means that maybe our competition, due to their better performance, have like better position in search results. So this also makes it that we lose additional customers. And in addition, let's say that the database of our website gets hacked, and this not only like makes our website worse or unsecure, but also really affects badly the reputation of our company. So these are things that can happen and are really happening every day in the web development world, and this needs to be taken into account if you're developing a website nowadays. So let's say what went wrong in this real life situation. We have like 5 points here. The first one, that we couldn't scale really effectively our website. So we had like a big uprise in customers, but we couldn't really handle it correctly. We had problems with security because our website was hackable and private data gets stolen. Our website in the end got really slow because all the edit complexity. Our development team got too big, and all these points made a big impact in the additional costs, because now if we imagine that we started with one developer, we now are paying for a whole department. I would like to now go through all of these points and really tell you how Jamstack can really solve this, because we think that we can prevent these things, these bad points with happening in your web development. So we will now go through the points, how Jamstack can really solve this. So the first issue was that we cannot really scale our website in a traditional technological stack. How does Jamstack solve this? In short, Jamstack uses CDN, which is short for Content Delivery Network. And that means that the website is served to you by the closest point to you. What does this mean in real sense? We would like to illustrate it with like a network of movie theaters. Let's say that you want to go and watch your favorite movie into the theater. Why isn't that really a problem? Because there's a big network of movie theaters all around the globe, in your country, in major cities. And if you decide to watch a movie, you can go to the closest one. If you imagine that there would be only one movie theater in the world, it would be real difficult to go and watch a movie. And as the owner of the movie theater, you couldn't really solve this problem. Even if you added like additional seats to your movie theater, this wouldn't really be a long-term solution to scalability issues. Likewise, Jamstack uses CDN, Content Delivery Network, and that means that the website content functionality is distributed over a big network of nodes, we could call them, and this really guarantees that you are getting your website from the closest point, and this really affects performance in big way, because the website will be only always available to you from the closest point. The second issue with the real life situation was that we had problems with security. Remember, we got hacked. How does Jamstack solve this issue? Jamstack solves this issue by generating pages in advance. So if you compare it with a traditional websites builds its content and website on a request. So when you visit a page, then it's built, and then it's gets all the data from the databases. With Jamstack, this doesn't happen in real time, but your websites are all pre-generated, and there are no real-time communication with your databases. So this means that if a hacker wants to hack your website, it's not really possible, because at that moment, what he has access to is only like a static website. This can be likened into burning a DVD movie. So in a traditional sense, when you want to watch a movie, you go to your computer and you want to burn it out to DVD, you first have to download the movie, then you have to have like a burning software which burns it to the CD or DVD, and you put it to the DVD player, and then you can watch the movie. But with Jamstack, you have endless copies of the same DVDs already pre-burned, and you can like distribute it however you want, and you have really quick access to your movie. And that means as well that if somebody hacks your computer after that, they cannot really take away from you the DVDs or really change any of its content. So that really illustrates how Jamstack deals with security. The third issue that we faced was that in the end, our website was really slow. This, in a sense, was caused with additional complexity and services. Well, in Jamstack, as I already mentioned, with the pre-generated sites, this doesn't really happen. Or if you pre-generate the sites, that means that you are getting served with static HTML. That means that there are no like additional logic going behind it or connections to databases. This makes the visiting of the website like really an instant experience. So this is the Jamstack solution, generating pages in advance, and this way it's a guarantee that your websites will be really quick. The fourth issue that we had, that our development team was too big in the real life situation. And how does Jamstack solve this one? Well, the solution from Jamstack is that it uses API services. You can imagine it as software as a service. So in a Jamstack architecture, we are leveraging world-class services which are good at or excellent at those tests that we need. Let it be analytics, authentication, or any other like services. We don't have to handle it in-house with our developers, but we can rely on the service making the best solutions for us. If we like remember now the film crew illustration that I told you a few minutes ago, you can liken the API services as having world-class directors, as like James Cameron, for example, for your indie movie. I think that would be really awesome that you could use his world-class skills and expertise to help you make your own movie really a world-class level. And you don't have to even pay them full-time. You would just pay for the services that this world-class director is giving you. So I think this gives you a whole other edge and advantage in your web development. And the fifth issue that we had with the traditional website is that all of these points pointed to additional costs in our development. But as you saw with Jamstack, all the points that I mentioned before, all these accumulates to that you don't have to pay even close to the amount that you paid for a traditional website, because you don't have to pay a whole department. You just pay for the software as a service, and basically it gets cheaper and it gets more secure, and the pages are almost instantly served. So performance is also increasing your revenue because you don't lose customers because of that. So in a short, I hope I a little bit got you closer to the Jamstack solution and how it can really increase the way and improve the way you are building websites. So I would give now the show back to Deepak.
Thank you, Gary. So who is actually using Jamstack architecture? Let's delve into some names. So as you can see, we have Adidas, UPC Switzerland, PayPal, Citrix, Nike, Restaurant Brand International, who is the mother or owner of brands like Burger King, Popeyes, Tim Hortons, Coca-Cola, and many others. first of all, I would like to point out, although those are major brands and huge global corporates on an enterprise level, Jamstack can be utilized to its simplicity from the very smallest entity, like a single NGO who has very limited budget, to full-fledged implementations. In example, the one that RBI uses for their Burger King displays. So let's don't start a discussion if ordering your menu in a fast food restaurant is more convenient through a self-care kiosk or panel or not, but I think it shows how flexible this technology is. We're talking here about websites that are used to manage the whole content and the customer experience. So if you go to a Burger King that is equipped with one of those self-ordering kiosks, the technology behind it is Jamstack. So, and this gave Nike the opportunity to manage their pricing, so product catalog. They manage the offering in regards to the customer that is standing in front of that kiosk. So it's geolocation-based services. And it's centralized through CDN capabilities. So it's for them, it's a one-stop shop. They don't need to go through pricing, legal issues, different menu items. In example, a Burger King wouldn't serve beef in India or pork in a Muslim country. So they can manage that all through one simple item. Another thing that I would quickly like to point out is how PayPal is utilizing it. I'm most sure that probably everyone attending this webinar has used PayPal in one sort or another. So, but I also assume that you probably did not know that you've already used Jamstack by using PayPal. Everyone that of you have used the send money function through PayPal did use Jamstack. There's a nice keynote speak from PayPal regarding this topic. So if you're interested, let us know. We will send you some information. I would like to point out two case studies a little bit deeper, those being Nike and UPC Switzerland. So an agency was asked to build a website for Nike's upcoming campaign. And if Nike asks you to build something, you just do it. So the Nike wanted to have a campaign for their athlete that they are sponsoring, and it was really short, on a short notice. So the agency was given only 4 weeks for developing this time, the website. The website had an estimated target of 1 million visitors, and the budget was tight. The agency were only given enough resources or money to build it with 2 devs. So the campaign's goal was to let the Nike customers participate in and interact with Nike by sending in their dreams in a pictured form. So it could either be a drawing or a photo or any other sort of objective way of displaying your dream. The campaign was a huge success, and it was quite heavily overrun. But it did not crumble, not once. As you can see, this page loading time was 0.9 seconds. They've had a traffic of 200,000 visitors a day, and they succeeded with 190,000 submissions. So as Gary mentioned, if we would have had a classical website, the website would have been hugely overrun by the figures that it actually got, because the website would have been scaled for 1 million visitors in total over a campaign length of around 30 to 60 days, which would average something in between 15 to 13,000 visitors every single day. And they actually achieved 10 times or tenfolds of those visitors. Another nice case study, which is fully detailed on our website, and if you want further information, please let us know, is we were asked for one of the biggest ISPs in Switzerland in regards of the B2B segment to help them and develop a new website. So the figures you're actually seeing on the screen, they're pretty convincing in themselves, but I would like to iterate a little bit more on them. Again, budget was tight, resources were tight, time was tight, but it was then again a full enterprise site. 4 languages in Switzerland is quite common. We're multi-language, so three languages that have to be implemented to cater to, let's say, 99% of the population. But then again, in a B2B segment, you also want to have your English customer satisfied. Switzerland is quite international in that regards. So we did develop a 3 times more faster website, and it's also more agile than the AEM stack that they used prior. So they went with Adobe and didn't and were not happy to use it any longer. So the main objectives they asked us to solve was handling their time-consuming data workflow. It was prior to the introduction of Jamstack, content editors themselves were not fully capable of editing content. They need to address their needs and talk to developers, which then would develop the things for them. The slightest change in the website would have had at least a 2 weeks window. So they were working in 2-week sprints, which often meant if you missed the deadline of a sprint, you then had to enter your change, wait another 1.5 weeks that it has been groomed, and all things that you are going through in agile web development, to then only 3.5 weeks later have a change in your website. For them, and I totally understand why, this was unacceptable any longer. They wanted to change that. This also caused another issue. They have really long production time for new pages to go to market. Especially in an ISP market, which is currently in Switzerland and promotion market, sales are generated through promotion. Internet is a commodity. Of course, you can be faster, you can have better latencies than your competitors, you can have fiber optics. There's some technology advantages, but like I said, internet is a commodity, and people want internet to have internet at their place. And a more compelling argument for them over speed or the latest technology is to get a good price. So if you are living or competing in a promotion market, you need to be fast. And then the next thing that they were facing is they had a lack in performance. Especially for an ISP, I firmly believe that you can't convince your customers and tell them, we have the fastest internet in Switzerland, or we have the best service regarding your internet in Switzerland, if your website is slow. It's just not believable. Of course, lack of performance brings many other issues within itself. We do see that you are penalized by Google for your SEA, and there are many studies, an example for Gartner, that 1 second of loading time, page loading time, would decrease your increase your bounce rate by around 7%. If you, maybe you played with the tool that Google offers, is Think with Google, where you can enter how much revenue you are losing with every 0.2 seconds of page performance. So they didn't want to have that either any longer. So of course, as you probably can imagine, our solution was to implement Jamstack, and we did it with 3 major brands, which we firmly believe are one of the best in its class. This is CMS part would be taken care by Storyblok, and Netlify would be used for the CDN. I'm more than happy to announce that twim is official and certified partner of both Storyblok and Netlify, and the code base is hosted in GitHub. Of course, Jamstack is an API-driven technology. You can utilize it in any way and form that you want. You don't have to use either of these services. There is CenturyLink for CDNs or site. There's so many other great repositories, Git repositories other than GitHub, and there are other other CMSs. But we firmly believe that Storyblok, with its unique feature of providing your client or our client or the user with an editor workflow that is in a graphical interface, so it's drag and drop, is the best user experience, and therefore we highly recommend using it. So the outcome is a highly flexible website, of course, but it's fast. So as you can see the figures on the screen, you can see the legacy side and the side that go live with the already implemented analytics. And of course, a website would be even faster if you don't implement analytics, but in an enterprise sector, and if you want to see your lead conversions and all those nice things that you need to know how your business is developing, of course you want analytics. But analytics quite often makes your performance crumble. So it's even more impressive that we achieved those figures, including the integration of analytics. So let me give you a little bit background of what those figures actually mean. So the first contentful paint is the time that is needed that you actually see the website on your device, and which was 5.9 seconds. It's not that good, but it's not that bad either. The time to interactive, I think, is a little bit more telling on how bad this actual site was. Time to interactive means the time that is needed that your website is fully usable, and if you click something and a link opens and all those other things. Of course, let me quickly point out that in the meanwhile, between the first contentful paint and the time to interactive, some of the elements of the website are fully functional and workable, but if it's the way UPC has implemented the website, it literally took those 30 seconds to have full access to the features and information that you wanted to achieve from the website. This is not any longer the case. We boiled the times down from 5.9 to 2.2, and the time to interactive is 5.8. So we are 3 times faster, but in some regards we increased by 6 times. And of course, Google page rating went up from, I believe, around 30 to over 90 points. So they spent far less money on their Google advertising. So another thing is that apart from the user experience and the experience that the website is faster and cheaper, is they achieved a workflow that is friendly for the editor and content managers. By giving them pre-coded blocks in Storyblok, they can quickly build their websites in a matter of minutes, and it's literally a drag and drop system. So we like to see explain Storyblok as Lego. We as twim would create your Lego bricks, hand them over to you, and you can edit them in any sorts and way that you want to use them. But it's even better than Lego. It's not only can you create your own Lego bricks, by how we implement the Jamstack in Storyblok is you can easily say, I don't want 6 knobs on my brick, I just want 5 of them. And so text, content, the whole look of the website can be changed in a matter of minutes, and it can be done without any developers. This, of course, results in a shorter time to market. Sites are built more easily and faster and can be deployed really easy. Without the need of developers even, you can, in regards of promotions, you can set a timer. Website goes live at that date, is shut down at date 3 days later. You can automate the deployment. You can deploy with an approval flow. So if you're the manager of a team that is editing your content, they can make the website totally finished. Just send it, you will get a notification. Website is finished. Do you like it? Yes or no? Have a look at it. If you like it, just click on deploy or time the deployment. So no developers needed any longer. I would quickly like to summarize the opportunities that an enterprise has by utilizing Jamstack as an architecture. Jamstack is secure and it's scalable. As Gary mentioned, your website is pre-rendered, and this pre-rendering grants you maximum performance. And while you're because you're building your website in advance, you do see if there are any issues, and you don't have to deploy it. But it's a proof concept in itself, and that can be highly scalable and therefore easily adopted to your needs. Enterprise solutions can be built quickly. You have great time to market and you have lower costs. Sorry, technical issue. There we go. That's something I've already mentioned. Jamstack integration happens at build time. So website is pre-rendered and built, and therefore you have a reduced error rate. And this gives you the aforementioned reliability, scalability, and security. Jamstack utilizes cloud services, and I can't put too much emphasis on this point, and that because that's the beauty of it, and that makes it affordable. Like Gary mentioned, you can use James Cameron or any other director in this regard, technology or service that you would like to use. It's as shortly away as the push of a button and entering your credit card information and consuming a service. If there's a consumable service, an example, a JSON or whatever, just use it and try it out. We see that quite often with our customers. They want to see if a feature works for them or not. Most often, companies will give you a free tier, just to dip in your toes and use it. And they just check it out. I can remember when I started my work in this regards, it was never try to deploy on Friday. That's the worst thing you can do. It's it was punishable if you came up with the idea, let's deploy on Friday. I firmly believe those times are over, especially regarding using a microservice architecture. Go ahead, buy a service or try the free tier, integrate it, and if you dislike it, just switch it off. Your core functionalities will still be working. You didn't change anything in whatsoever in those regards. So Jamstack utilizes the cloud at its full potential, and there are so many new companies coming up with so many great features that I even have heard of or can't even imagine that anyone would need them or that there's a market for, but there is. So that's why they thrive and come up with smart solutions. It's beautiful to see that smart people come up with smart tools and great ways of solving issues. Because there are so many vendors on the market and so many technologies that can be used and integrated so easily, you're not bound any longer to a vendor solution. In example, if you use Adobe Experience Manager, you most likely will end up in buying Adobe Analytics. So you've already spent $250,000 to $1 million in license fees with Adobe Experience Managers, and then you will pay exactly on top the same for using the Adobe Target and all those things that Adobe would like to sell you. But why should you? In an old world, you have to, but in a modern approach, you can do it in a completely more cost-effective way and technology-driven rather than vendor-driven. So in a nutshell, this is the power of Jamstack. If you want to have a live presentation, please contact us. Not only live presentation, if you do have any other topics that you would like to address in your regards of digitalization, we are more than happy to come by, have a look at it and give you our honest feedback and what we think how a topic like this can be solved. I don't know at what time zone you are exactly. Here in Central Europe, we are close to lunchtime. I don't want to hinder you in lunch or dinner, or maybe you're in the US, then it would be your breakfast time. If you want further information, please feel free to contact us in any given moment. Like I stated also earlier, we are more than happy to just have a look at your digitalization needs and help them out. I would also, again, would point out that we are not your classical agency. We are more than happy to help you with your web development and implementing a website for you. And we do have another intellectual property, which is in regards of managing IPv4 and IPv6 address ranges. But other than that, we are classical consultancy. So we can do your starting with business cases or customer awareness till the end, but only in regards of digitalization. So if you have a need in that, we're also more than happy to help you out. Of course, today focus was on Jamstack. The series will continue. We are more than happy to welcome you again in one of the next rounds and then with another topic. Thank you for joining us, and I wish you a nice day. All the best.